much. Want to turn to Meg Strickler really quick. Michael Jackson, this is Time magazine from soon after Michael Jackson's death. All of Michael Jackson inside of it. What do you think about the jury not being sequestered, going out every day and seeing the zoo that we saw outside of the LA County Courthouse?
Oh, I feel badly for them. I would be afraid to even go to the restroom if I were them, because there's going to be so many people really looking at them and trying to influence them. And as you know, right outside the courthouse are placards saying for both sides, for Dr. Murray and for Michael Jackson. And how can they really come up with a good opinion as to what's going on with this case with so much going on that's a little circus-like? It's really hard to make a good decision and listen to all the evidence and simply listen to the trial.
It really is. In Time magazine, it says, no celebrity burned brighter than Michael Jackson at the peak of his career, even after the fact. And Jane Velez Mitchell is outside of the courtroom, and earlier she spoke to a woman from Russia. So we're talking about worldwide fame here. So do you think that it could have an influence on the jury? They're supposed to not listen to that, not pay attention to it, but it could influence them.
And with social media, I mean, it's like you have a phone. You're everywhere. You've got Twitter, and I don't want to name all the different social media out there, but in Twitter, for example, it's in French, it's in Spanish, it's in Italian. I've seen different feeds on the different hashtags. So how on earth can these people simply listen to just the testimony and not other people's opinion? I think it's not possible. They should have been sequestered, even though it's difficult on them.
I think it may have been the exhaustion factor that a lot of people may have faced in the Casey Anthony trial. They were sequestered day in and day out, missing their family. And some people speculate that they made that rash decision because they were sequestered. So maybe that, Meg, played into this as well. Do you agree?
I so agree. And trials do take some time, and there are not even ones that are media related. Jurors can be sequestered for a long time, and it's difficult. You're away from your children, you're away from your work, you're away from everything. It's extraordinarily difficult. And with the Casey Anthony trial, I think there was some backlash, and so this judge says, like you said earlier, I think, we're done. We're going to let him out there. I'm not going to let taxpayers' money deal with that. They're going to be able to make a sound decision. We'll see.
We were talking about it in a commercial break. Judge Michael Pastor doing an excellent job moving this trial along very quickly, keeping things in line. We are following this. Again, the Conrad Murray trial is in recess right now. Meg, thank you. We know you're sticking around. You will not miss a minute of testimony. We'll take you back to the courtroom as soon as court is back in session. Stay with us. All right, Mike, thank you. We know you're on standby for us. We're so appreciative of that. Meg, we talked about the witness list. We only have about 30 seconds left. The kids are on the witness list, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to hear from the kids, correct?
That's exactly right. They're on the list. The prosecution wants to make sure they have their T's crossed and their I's dotted. So they're on the list, but they probably will not be there to testify.
Okay, and you can follow everything that happens inside the courtroom by checking out our Conrad Murray trial blog. Just go to HLNTV.com/Michael Jackson. Stay put. And does that matter, Meg, if a person on trial is likable? I'm reading here that when his former patient came off the stand, he kind of gave a gesture to Dr. Conrad Murray, so it seems like they still have some sort of good relationship. Does it matter when we're talking about a crime that was committed? A man that is dead, a legend. Michael Jackson is no longer with us. Someone has to pay.
Yeah, the king of pop. Let's not forget, this man is now dead. Now, when you have a likable defendant, it really does help us. No matter how you look at it, it's always good to have a defendant have good facial like he is doing here. He's not showing too much emotion, and he's showing emotion when you need to show emotion. So Conrad Murray is doing very well as a defendant here in the sense of looking good on trial. But I couldn't disagree more with Mr. Barnes over there about what to charge with. He should have charged, the prosecutor should have charged at least second degree. And for once, I do agree with Nancy Grace. That's a rare thing.
So do you think, though, if they overshot the charge, if they charged him with too much, as some people said they did in the Casey Anthony trial, that they charged too much, that they acquitted her altogether? So do you think they were playing it safe in terms of the charges and what he's looking at here, 4 years instead of maybe, let's say, 20?
Exactly. I think they were a little gun shy here. Absolutely. They went to just involuntary manslaughter, which is only 4 years max. And the prisons are so overcrowded. Do you really think Conrad Murray, even if he is convicted, is going to go and do any kind of prison? No. His life is already destroyed. I do think no. No. You know, I mean, if he gets 4 years, you get the good time, you get all this other stuff, magical stuff that comes once you're already convicted. He won't spend much time. Look at Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, all those people. Did they get, once they were sentenced to their 90 days, how much jail time did they serve? Very little.
Right.
So,
Natisha Lance outside of the courtroom, also Jane Velez Mitchell outside of the courtroom. We saw LaToya Jackson getting out, looking glamorous, getting out of her car, going into the courtroom. How powerful, Meg, do you think that is? Seeing the Jackson family, they're all huge stars sitting there in court looking at the jury.
oh my gosh, they've got to feel such a burden here. What do I do here? Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here with Michael Jackson's family, Jermaine Jackson, Janet Jackson. Wow, I mean, they are just huge stars. I'm starstruck by looking at them on the screen here. I mean, you got to feel such a burden. But the good news for them, the jury, is that they can only convict for 4 years, perhaps. I don't know. But I wish they had more leeway. By only having the one count of involuntary manslaughter, there's not much leeway here. It's guilty or not guilty. With second degree, it gives them more leeway. And in my opinion, there is malice here. How dare you have propofol in a residence without monitoring equipment? I'm not a doctor. I'm not even remotely a doctor. But you don't do that.
I heard someone making an analogy that putting someone to sleep with propofol is like killing a fly with a shotgun. It is that powerful, should not be administered in a home.
Exactly
Good
right.
point. Meg Strickler, thanks so much. Again, we're in a mid-morning break. Stay with us. You will not miss a thing. You can follow everything that happens inside the courtroom by checking out our Conrad Murray trial blog. Just go to HLNTV.com/Michael Jackson. Stay with us.